from being a field representative, but also understanding the rules and guidelines from an administrative and from a agency or an organizational perspective. So prior to 2010, we worked with clients with what I would call an unwritten rule. And the unwritten rule when you came into the industry was that, specifically in the insurance industry, is you do what's in the best interest of your clients. Don't do anything for your clients you wouldn't do for your mother or your brother or someone that is near and dear to your heart. And the concept of, by helping other people achieve their goals, ultimately you will achieve yours. So we were held to that standard, and we promised to do it with the best of our capability, as long as we were able to maintain a license, and as long as we were able to gather and gain the trust of the population or potential clients. And so I remember going to, years and years ago, prior to 2010, is going out and having conversations with a specific client of mine who was selling a business, and he was trying to retire, and having the conversation around what was in his best interest. And based on the way in which companies were set up, and the relationship between the advisor and the companies, we really had to look outside of the potential one company to try and figure out where was the best plan and strategy for that client. It wasn't just a one company solution. And I think some of the regulation that has came out because a lot of captive companies, or a lot of companies, those individuals had to sell those specific products. So if we fast forward to Tate, what's happened for all of us, I'll take that same client, but the standard SEC regulation for the best interest contract that has come out. 15 states obviously is in the process of adopting it, and adopting the NAIC best interest model. It's out there, and compliance has adopted that inherently, so they can be ahead of the game. And that compliance regulates how and what's in the best interest of that client, based on their assets, based on what was shown to the client. Was it one company or was it multiple companies? Based on a scoring system. And so there's actually been things that have been created because of the regulation by the SEC. So in our firm specifically, our broker dealer has put in a layer of compliance that certain people over a certain age can't buy certain annuities, and they can't participate in certain products because of their age and because of how complex the products may be. They've also put in clear and concise regulation about compensation on those products. Also, that's transparent to the client. They've also put in regulation at the actual insurance level, because many of the annuities may be variable. So they've put in compliance from from FINRA's stamp perspective to make sure that they could pass the test from there in the SEC. They've also put it in at the distribution level of the insurance product itself. And they've also put in guidelines that allows for us to be able to look back and say, based on clients that are certain ages, that have certain amount of assets, here are things that they can and cannot do, because there's so many other things that can be looked at that may not be in their best interest. So, and now with the technology that allows for you to go through and look at best interest from an organic standpoint, that's allowed for even another layer of compliance to follow the rules. They've gotten to the age where long-term care is something that they have an interest in. And because some of the annuities can have long-term care as a part of them, it now goes through that same best interest contract. And so as we started to look at their longevity and their mortality and morbidity, we now have to also make sure that we're looking at what's in their best interest. If this company has the best product, or is this strategy a better scenario, self-insure, or is this scenario a better scenario because of the regulation that's already in place. And we, even at our office, because of the regulation, have put in standards for ourselves and our advisors that's even more arching and more stringent than what's already there. It may be more difficult for the client, not for the advisor, but for the client to access the product that may be the right fit for that client. And so for additional regulation that a body may be considering, I can tell you that we are already ahead of the game. As advisors, we've gone through training and development to make sure that we're doing what's in the best interest of the client. Companies also have adopted guidelines to make sure that the advisors are doing what's in the best interest of the client, to add another layer of complexity, another layer of density, and a barrier to access to products to clients could create, a very difficult and a very challenging time going forward for the insurance industry, and also for those thriving companies that provide those products to quite frankly stay in business, to provide the benefit to the client. And so we want to make sure, from our perspective, we tell the story, and we're an advisor that, coming from someone who's been in the industry now 22 years, I can tell you that the industry has served everyone well, and we need to make sure that our clients can continue to have access to our products and services, and not jump through a bunch of hoops to get those, so they can protect their family, care for the people they love, and make sure they protect their assets along the way.